Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, AmusedJester. My name is Junior, and today we're going to be reviewing Inart's 1/12 scale Catwoman from The Dark Knight Returns. So this came by about 2 months ago, or a month ago actually, and I got this from 1/6 Kit. Not on the sponsor or anything. I just want to let you know where I got it from, and I got it for 50, 70, 80. $8. That's with the free shipping I think I got from 1/6 Kit, and that also includes the pre-order as well. So that's the money that we paid for Inart's Catwoman. So let's see what's going on with this figure. I have not opened it, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the box, and we'll take a look and see. So that wasn't the shipping box, that was in the shipping box, and within that box is another box. Let me take it out and see what's going on with this one. So finally, after breaking open 3 brown boxes, we finally get to the box itself. Catwoman The Dark Knight. It's got some sort of texturing going on in the box. Very simple, very plain. No picture or anything. That's fine with me. I don't buy these things for boxes anyway. And it makes it easier for me to decide to just throw it away and all that stuff. I want to show the process of unboxing it and taking it out of the box in itself, since it's a pretty new experience for us with Inart. This is only the second figure that I've bought from Inart. I bought the Dark Knight version. Internal design range. Oh, that's pretty good that they actually show you what the internals actually look like on the inside, so you can kind of better understand exactly what's going on with the mechanics of it. Looks like it's going to come with 2 heads. Hands that are included. How to interchange the goggles. Interesting. Is there basically 2 expressions? No. One is without the mask, one is with the mask. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, looks like there's basically 2 trays. Okay, I think I got the deluxe version this time. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, the deluxe. Even with the Dark Knight one, I got the deluxe version. The figure is wrapped completely. There you go. First look. We're not going to concentrate on that. Second tray contains what looks like the secondary head. Stand. Stand actually feels kind of heavy. It's almost the same weight as a full Hot Toys base. So it's good to have weight on the base so it doesn't topple over or anything like that. Here is the articulated arm that will go with the base. It just plugs in here. Oh, here's the bottom of the base. Inart 1/12 Dark Knight Trilogy, HGM002. Model number, I suppose. So this must be the head without the mask. We'll look into this a little bit more later. Secondary hair sculpt. We'll put this on the mask, the base for now. Okay, so the accessories that's currently in the tray. Well, I'll just show it like this. I think it'll be easier. A broken Batman mask. We'll look into that some more. 2 head sculpts, it seems like, or 2 scopes. A gun. The arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extra hands. And relaxed hands over here as well. Alright, so let me go ahead and take it out of the tray now that we've seen what's in the tray, and let's take a look at this head first. So here's the head of Catwoman. Now, first glance, it does seem very simplistic. But you can see the actress Anne Hathaway's likeness in there. Remember, this is 1/12 scale. The paint application seems plain, but I would say it's more subtle. I do detect a hint of blush on the cheeks and the foreheads a little bit. Let me see if I can shine a little bit more light on the eyes and see what kind of detail we're getting in there. Okay, just for this close-up, I put on the flash on the camera just so we can see that there are painted details on the eyes, as you can see. And look, now we see that there is a makeup going on the upper eyelid. That's different. We see individual strands of hair painted on as eyelashes. Oh, and look at those eyebrows. Individual strands painted on as well. Now we can see more of the paint detail going on the face, where you can really actually see their attempt at freckles on that skin. Again, I remind you guys, this is a 1/12 scale head. Strands of hair painted on. What's the best comparison figure that I have on 1/12 scale that's great with paint application? Hold on a second. Alright, so for this comparison, the best I can think of in terms of paint application, in terms of detail with paint, for 1/12 scale is the Black series, right? Because they have their photorealistic paint application. And I don't have Senator Amidala, because that's in a box. So the closest newest release that I have is the Princess Leia. Oh my gosh, look. Look at the difference between the two now. You can see pixelation going on with the Black series because it's stamped. Wow. And then closing in, again, I look at the freckles going on with the Inart Selena Kyle, and then with a Black series, it's, now the Black series is what I would call plain, which is weird for me to say, seeing as how Black series often impresses me. And that is the same scale. I just had the Inart one closer up. Unbelievable. Now that I'm able to compare, like far away, you can it's comparable. You can still see the blush from the Black series one, but there's a sense of clarity to the Inart one that you can already tell as a, that you almost can't tell, but it's there. You can see it. It's much more crispier on the Inart one. All right, so let's enough detail. Then here's the hair. Let's enough talk about that. I've already made the comparison, so let's go on to the other head. Look at that. Look at the eyes. Same amount of detail, even though the eyes here are more covered by the mask. This one has a slight smile. You can see a hint of teeth. Or is that just a reflection between the lips? But there is, I think there's actual, I can't tell. But there is a line in between the lips to accentuate that darkness in there. Now with the mask on, it doesn't seem like they did the freckles thing on this face. So let me go ahead and compare that again. So you can see, I don't think that's a paint blemish. I think that is actually intended paint as freckles. Then you see gold flashes on the mask. You see a difference. It's almost like it's looking like carbon fiber right here on the inside of the mask. Even though it's just a simple gray, matte gray black paint application on the body, you see a difference between the two. Details on that one. Also, you don't get the sense of, oh, it's just printed plastic in black or cast in black. You know, it seems like it's intended on purpose, the way the paint application is done. So let me look at the instructions really briefly, just so I can understand the range of motion better. Alright, let's see what's going on. So this is the Batman head sculpt. The mask. That looks good. Torn edges. Nice detail. Crisp lines. Okay, and then I want to look at these. Oh man, look at that. Translucent. That is really cool. And this one would be the one over the head. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on right now. So the way it works is you almost can't tell unless you look specifically, is that there's actual notched grooves on the side of the heads. But I don't think it's as noticeable. They did a good job kind of hiding it. I didn't even notice it until I started looking closer to the head. The way it works is, this is the closed up version, and it's flexible enough. I don't think you should be afraid of it snapping because it's brittle plastic. It's actually quite flexible. It is small, but it actually, I felt a slight wedging into that shape. So once it's in, it's secure. I think, I wonder if I have this. I don't think I have this upside down. But I want to show, once it's fully in there, can you tell it's a separate piece? It blends in seamlessly into, oh, and you can still see her eyes through the goggles. It's not sitting, I don't have it seated perfectly in there though. It's slightly bent. Okay, then let's replace this. Wow, I can't believe that. The paint application is quite amazing for such a small piece. Like I said, it's a bendable plastic. You really shouldn't be afraid. I'm just a little bit careful. I guess. I don't think it requires it, or it's like necessary. It's just, it's so small and thin. I tend to want to I'm actually pushing that in there. It's still raised a little bit, and it ends up, watch, as I pull it out, it's gonna raise a little bit. There's the look if you want her to have those cat ears. Is this notching better, being a rectangular shape rather than a circle? I think so. I think that rectangular shape allows it to grip better on the head rather than having a circular shape as a notch and then having it flip back and forth. And you can't do that anyway and have this be able to flip forward and back. I think this is the best solution that they were able to manufacture. And then replacing the head. Oh wow, it's not a ball joint. It's very similar to what Hot Toys uses. I don't remember if Inart uses this type of connector as well, but it's smoother. Oh yeah, it's much more smoother to remove and put on. Now I realize I thought the replaceable hairpiece. Okay, so the replaceable hairpiece, which is this one, seems to only work, interesting, with this headpiece, the one that does not have the mask. Oop, I accidentally pulled it out. Wait! Oh, it actually connects to the connector. Oh, wow. So it works on both headpieces. So remove that. This is going to be a little bit tricky because it's a little tight, and see how it keeps playing on like that? So it's going to be a little bit tricky. You need to somehow support this so it doesn't hang on. I think that's the best way to do that. And then you put this back on. The head. And you get a flowing. Oh, wow. I've never even seen that. That's the first time I've seen something like that. It completely changes the look just because of that. I thought maybe it would allow you to kind of like if you're riding on the bat cycle that it will flare out. But it's being hindered by the back piece of the hair. It moves a little bit forward, as you can see, but not enough to change it from the side view. It changes it quite drastically from the back view. Let's look at the articulation of this thing. This is quite amazing, actually. So even with that, because it's got a hinge here and a hinge there, you do have, let me straighten the neck a little bit down and a little bit, maybe not up. I'm not gonna put anything on the up because it seems like she's just looking straight forward. This is just me working off of the top, the one below the skull joint. So very minimal. But when you combine with the one at the bottom of the neck, then you got a lot more range. Oh yeah. I think it'll be problematic on the bat cycle because that tends to be a little bit more out. The hands, that's weird. The shoulder goes up like this. There is a butterfly joint that's going on over here, giving it a little bit more range. Inwards, not by a lot. Now, when I mentioned strange, okay, so there's a bicep cut here, or not really bicep cut, but more towards the cut of the gloves. Oh, so when I rotated it that I thought was strange, that's basically the cut on the gloves. This joint is something different that I haven't really seen. It's a single joint, but the range is actually quite amazing for a single joint. That really is a single joint. Look. But I think it works because the way they did it is the outside shape is very, very thin, but it's actually pinned high here. And then the shape of this one just continues around in a curve so that when you bend it, it bends quite seamlessly. That is really good. Like I said, I've never seen this type of articulation on this scale. So, you have the wrist that obviously does everything that you're expected to do. It's on a ball joint. Turn around. The hands are malleable, easily malleable. We'll look into the other hands later on. There's a ball joint here and a joint here. So let's look at the top joint. Pretty good range for the top joint alone. A little bit in the back, a lot on the side. Let's look at the waist. There's a lot more on the waist. A lot more in the waist. Yeah. With the conjunction of the two, you get a lot of range. A lot of range. Look at that. Before you break the sculpt. Oh, look at that. It's quite... This middle part here is not hard plastic. It feels rubbery. I pulled it enough that it created that space, and now I have to kind of push it back in. And then the crotch area is also not hard plastic, kind of rubbery. This is not attached. It's free floating on this side, but this side is attached somehow, which is good. I like that. So we have a set of guideline of if you want it even. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so for the legs, does it have a drop down? I don't feel a drop down. There's no, or there is a thigh cut hidden in the boots. 90 degrees out. You can get 90 degrees back because this is made out of rubber. Here's the joint. It's gonna pinch, so you're just gonna have to be careful when you put it back to the original shape, but it is rubber. I'm kind of afraid of that rubber, that eventually it might cause a problem later on, like it might crack. And you can see some pinching going on here, so maybe you're gonna need some sort of tool to kind of mess around with that. I literally just had this tool here. That might be helpful. I would use a tool like this very, very carefully. Not to pry it out, but more like to make sure it doesn't get pinched as you're putting the thing. But it's getting pinched though. So I guess you would need something like this to kind of pry it out, but be very careful. Again, this is kind of rubbery material. And once you have it beyond where it's able, beyond this thing pinches it, then you have a little bit more freedom. I've kind of seen this technology or this application of material where this is soft, in what toy was that? I had to look for it, but it's from the Crazy Figure, the 1/12 scale. It was kind of malleable soft here, malleable soft here, and it allowed it to perform amazing ranges of articulation, and that's exactly what we're seeing here too. A lot more range possible, made possible by using that combination. See? Look at that. Yeah. I like that. I mean, even in the review of that figure, I said that was a really good combination. So let's look at the knee. We already have the thigh cut that I showed. This is a double jointed knee, but you almost can't tell because of how they hit it. Even in the back, it's just really, really tight in terms of spacing. And maybe it's because it's painted, so you don't see it as much, but I feel like it's well hidden. It's not a tight connection. It's not a loose connection. I would say it's a secure connection that you feel comfortable with. It's very smooth. It doesn't hang or anything like that. Sorry why my light turned off. I apologize. My light turned off, so I don't know why it does that. It's a new setup. So like I said, the connection, this joint, it feels very well done, and it has a ankle articulation, toe articulation, and the ankle articulation, it's kind of tight. I feel comfortable doing that much, and that's it. That much, and that's it. It does have a slight ankle. I think this is a ball joint. I feel like it is more than anything else. Yeah, this is kind of gonna be, I'm gonna be debating myself how I want to pose this, whether with the mask or without the mask. In the meantime, I want to bring out my Christian Bale figure from Inart, which is what made me buy this one. And I'm honestly, I'm not one of those Dark Knight supporters where I need to get every figure. This just looks so good. The strength of this sculpt looks so good. And when I saw the Anne Hathaway face in this one, yes, it's not as strong as the Christian Bale one. There's a doll-like quality in this one. And if you think about it, that's understandable because she's a woman. So she won't have as many craggly surfaces that the Christian Bale had because he's a male, you know, with beautiful female faces. Their features tend to be very smooth and curved and almost disappearing, and that's basically why this is looking as it is with Anne Hathaway. It's very doll-like, has a very doll-like quality, but that's just her face though at that time. This is a very good piece. This is, even though I compared it with the Black Series, I had to because that's the only comparable 1/12 scale that I have with this type of paint application. But to be honest, this is not a figure that's comparable to Black Series. This is a different type, a different level of a figure. This is the type of figure that you might, because of the price range, you might compare with Mafex, because Mafex is running around 80 to 100. This is, remember, $85. I guess we're going into the evaluation section now. This is $85, and here is the money. We're gonna put it in the background over here so we can be constantly reminded of what we're paying for when we purchase this figure, right? This is the type of figure that you would compare to Gong Studios, because Gong Studios, I believe, is $85, $82, or a Mezco figure. Mezcos are now going for $100. And even though they have different looks and different styles, they provide me different, they fulfill different areas of what I want. This is classic Captain America, a classic style. Even though this is more of a ultimate style Superman for me, where it's kind of like a mix between realistic and everything. I do prefer a more comic-y based figure. If I'm gonna spend money on this level of 1/12 scale figures, I would go with a comic base because these are comic book characters. So I like this style. I like the Superman style more. And of course, Mezco, it's slightly higher, but they do offer multiple heads, and that's really, really key for me. Multiple heads, multiple poses, multiple possibilities. So Gong Studios, it's good, but it's only competing with Mezco because of the lower price range. Now we're gonna go back to Inart. Inart, it's a different level. Remember, $85. So, man, this is a different level. I cannot see any 1/12 figure that matches what Inart is doing right now. I'm gonna say that right now. I know there has been other third-party vendors out there. I think Bobby Valla was talking about the Lord of the Rings one. But those come with fabric. This is not fabric. And I have some of the Star Wars fabric. I can't remember the name of the brand, but this is all plastic, which at first I wasn't really too keen on, because when it's all plastic like this, you tend to think it was like, this is just a 6-inch action figure. Why am I paying $85 for this one? Well, why are you paying $85 for a Mafex figure or SHF figure arts? You know, those are all plastic. But this is so much more better than what Mafex is able to do. And since we're talking about Mafex, I brought out this one, which is, I believe, like $100. And as you can see, in terms of height comparison, look, even though it seems like it's the same height, it's not, as you can see, because proportion wise, it's a comic book character, it's realistic. So but it's kind of, it will fit height wise, but proportion wise it doesn't quite fit, right? But look at the comparisons in terms of a Mafex and an Inart one. Inart, even though you still have the articulation range that Mafex offers, right? It can do what Mafex does. But they try really, really hard to hide the articulation. I think the worst part of the articulation in an Inart one is this, or what happened here in the crotch region. I wasn't really too keen on this one, but it's well hidden under all these complex designs. And look, that's all. I didn't also agree with that one, but it's, like I said, it's all hidden in this complex design of the suit. So Inart does a really, really good job to really disguise the hinges in the figure, at least so far that I'm seeing. Is it worth $85? Will I continue to buy more figures from Inart at $85? This is kind of the key, because the figure, the product is really, really good. And I'm going to say this right now, I don't think anybody can match what Inart is doing right now in the 1/12 scale. This is amazing, 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 amazing. If you are looking for your ultimate 1/12 scale Dark Knight figure, I think this is the one you want to get. You don't want to go fabric. The fabric, because of the scale, will limit the accuracy to scale once you have it on the figure, and it will limit articulation. So that kind of puts down a level the ones were that was reviewed by Bobby Valla in terms of the Lord of the Rings one. It also puts down in below level the Star Wars one that I had. That's why I kind of stopped buying those. Fabric is good up to a point. I think it has to stop at 1/6 scale. You can't put fabric on 1/12. There's just way too much restrictions, limitations once you apply fabric to 1/12 scale. $85 though is a lot of money for 1/12 scale. You know what? I'm gonna have to backtrack. If they do a Heath Ledger Joker, I probably get it. If they do Two-Face, I will probably get it. You know what? Screw it. I'm probably gonna get all the Dark Knight ones. This is just a phenomenal piece. Everything you could possibly want for a figure is here. You have all the accessories that you need. You have a secondary head. You can display it any other way that you want. There's nothing else that you want to add in the figure for $85, $88. It's all there. So I highly recommend this. In terms of value, in my old value system, this is not just a 12. This is an easy 15. So in this case, I'm not even looking at the money. I'm just looking at the figure, and the money becomes like disappears because I want the figure more than the money. So I think I'm gonna cut it there. I can't express enough how much I am gushing over Inart's 1/12 scale figures. I can't. It's just, if you have the money, if you're into these characters, if you want the ultimate 1/12 in 1/12 scale, you need to get it. There just isn't really any options. At this point, you're either buying the top or you're settling for below the top. And when you're settling, that's going to be personal preference. How much are you willing to settle down so that you're not spending as much? The McFarlane figures might be good enough for you, and I'm not gonna bash on that and everything. But remember, McFarlane figures for something like this is what, 25 maybe, 25, 28. So here's your 25, and this is the extra stuff that you're paying for when you're buying this. Should I even bring out the McFarlane Dark Knight to comparison? I'm not gonna do that. If I have the choice of paying 25 with a McFarlane or 85 to get this one, I'm gonna go with this one. There's not even a question. It just isn't. Anyway, that's it for my review of Inart's 1/12 scale Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found it enjoyable, informative, and I hope to see you guys in my next review. Bye.